1. We've started back over from the beginning. We finished up the book of Joshua last week. I do encourage you, if you've never continued to read on through the Bible, the book of Judges is a continuation of the Torah and the book of Joshua, and you'll see the downfalls and the problems with those generations. I'd encourage you to do that, but I did want to go back because Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2 is going to cover a lot of ground and a lot of foundational material for what we believe and why we believe it, okay? So we're going to start off in chapter 1, and we're going to read verses 1 through 5. We're going to get through 5 verses today, okay? We're going to, let me rephrase that. We're going to try to get through 5 verses today, okay? So Genesis chapter number 1, in the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters, and Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And Elohim saw the light that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So from the surface, from the very surface right there, we get a basic understanding of the beginnings of creation. The only problem is we're getting it from an English perspective, okay? So I want you to understand that the Bible was written, the Torah especially, and I believe firmly all of the books of the covenant were written in Hebrew, but yet they've gone through a translation change from the original Hebrew to the from the Paleo-Hebrew to the modern Hebrew to the Aramaic to the Greek to the Latin and to the English. And the English didn't come out until about 1560. Tyndale's Bible came out a little bit before that, but 1560 was really the first complete Bible in English form with chapters and verses and punctuation. And that was called the Geneva Bible. So that was 1560. That's 1,530 years after the resurrection of Yeshua. Okay? So keep that in mind. And so many times within our English Bibles we've lost the meanings of certain things. We've lost the things have been added. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the first 5 verses. I'm going to read it from the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to go get the Peshitta, and I'm going to read it in the Peshitta, and I want you to be able to tell the difference. Now, some of you are using a TS 2009. I have that as well. It has a little bit different rendering, but I wanted to show you these differences before I get into what we're going to be talking about, okay? In the beginning, Elohim made the heaven and the earth, but the earth was unsightly and unfurnished, and darkness was over the deep, and the Spirit of Elohim moved over the water. And Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And Elohim saw the light that it was good, and Elohim divided between the light and the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and there was evening and there was morning the first day. Okay, now, from that one as well as from our English Bible, we can see that most people start believing and following the instruction on when the day begins based upon those verses, which throws us into a misunderstanding of Scripture. I'm going to read to you from the Peshitta now. The Peshitta is the Aramaic version. Aramaic was the language of Yeshua when he was on the earth. They were not speaking in Paleo-Hebrew. They were not speaking in ancient Hebrew. They were speaking in Aramaic. And so I'm going to read to you the Aramaic now, and you can follow along in your Bible. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth was chaos and empty and darkness on the faces of the depths. And the Spirit of Elohim hovered on the faces of the waters. And Elohim said, "The light shall be," and the light was. And Elohim saw the light, that it was beautiful, and Elohim separated between the light unto the darkness. And Elohim called the light the day, and the darkness he called the night. And it was evening, and it was dawn, day 1. Evening and dawn, day 1. See the difference? How the misunderstanding could be the evening and the morning was the first day. Yet the Peshitta, the Aramaic, the language of Yeshua, the evening, it was evening and it was dawn, day one. Okay? So what we're going to learn in the first, Mr. Sharon, would you just take this and cover it up for me? It's going to get, would you just take it and cover it up for me, please? I'm not going to be able to. When we look at this, we're going to learn quite a few things from the first 5 to 10 verses, but today we're going to focus on the first 5 verses, and we're going to talk about the light. Okay. Now, if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask me because we're going to be throwing some things out. I've got some information here that I got from Brother Avi Ben Mordecai. Avi had done a great study on this some time back, and I took some of his notes and some of his information that he got, and I wanted to sort of share that with us today to get into this particular study as we're looking into Genesis chapter 1. So this comes from Rabbi Israel Drazin. Okay, he's a PhD in Judaic studies from 1957. Okay, pay attention to the date now. 1957. He authored 54 books, including a series of 5 volumes on the Aramaic translation of the Hebrew Bible. He has a master's degree in psychology, a master's degree in Jewish literature. He is also an attorney and a rabbi. Okay, this is what he said in 1957. It is well known that Jews begin their day in the evening at sunset, not at midnight and not at daybreak, but this was not always so. Many scholars are convinced that the biblical Israelite day started at daybreak. It seems possible that the Judeans who were exiled to Babylon accepted the Babylonian practice of beginning the day with the prior evening. We know for certain that the day began in the temple at daybreak, and it is assumed that the priests in the temple retained the ancient practice for as long as the temple existed. When the Bible states there was evening and there was morning one day in Genesis 1:5, its meaning is literal. Elohim completed what was stated earlier during the daylight period, and this was followed by evening, and when morning came, the day ended, day 1, and the new day begins. The Hebrew is Erev and Boker. The first means evening and the second morning or daybreak. Okay? Rabbi Ismar Shorsh, and so not all Jews follow the evening to evening. Now, how many of you, when you first came into Torah, were doing evening to evening? I think all of us were. Because what was our thought? Oh, wow, the Jews have been doing it for 2,000 years. They must be doing it right. So we started doing it like they started doing it, okay? But notice where Rabbi Drazin says that they got that from. Babylon. They got it from Babylon. Babylonians were moon worshippers, okay? They still are. I mean, look at, can somebody tell me what is the country that now is associated with Babylon?
Iran.
Iraq. What is the flag of the Nation of Islam? Iraqis are Islamic. What is the flag? The crescent moon. Crescent moon. And so therefore, they observe the new moon in a crescent form. Science, scholars, and everyone says the new moon is the dark moon. It's not the sliver, it's the dark moon. It's the where you can't see a moon, okay? Rabbi Ismar Shorsh, Chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary, wrote, finally, the festival calendar clearly alludes to a division of time that regards the evening as part of the day just ended. Second, the Talmudic innovation of reckoning a day from eve before suggests a larger view of life. While we may never know what prompted the rabbis to reconfigure the day, the existential benefit is indisputable. And so we see very, very clearly in Genesis 1 through 5, he says there in verse number 5, Elohim called the light day, the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning, then day 1, okay, or dawn. Evening and dawn, day 1. Now, I want us to sort of go back and talk about how everything is laid out on the earth. We have to go back to the temple in heaven. Because what does the Bible say about things on the earth as compared to things in the heavens?
Things on the earth are shadows.
Things on the earth are shadows. I want you to look at Exodus chapter 25 and verse number 40. And then I want you to look in Hebrews chapter number 8, verses 4 and 5. So Exodus 25 and verse 40. Exodus 25 verse 40 says, "And look that you make them after their pattern which was showed to you on the mountain." This is Moses being spoken to by Yahweh concerning the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of the temple. Okay? Now look in Hebrews chapter 8. Hebrews chapter 8, and we'll look at verse 4 and 5. Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 4 and 5. "For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the Torah," or the law, "who serve unto the example and shadow of" what? Heavenly things. "Serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of Elohim when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern showed thee on the mount." And so everything that we find here on earth has its beginnings in the heavens. Okay? So therefore, all the patterns and everything that Yah established on earth for man were already in place in heaven, according to what we read in the Bible. So therefore, the day itself was also reckoned that same way. Okay? All right? Now, look in Luke, give you some additional understanding. Luke chapter number 11 and verse number 2. Again, just laying some groundwork. Luke chapter 11 and verse number 2. This is Yeshua's prayer, and notice what he says in verse number 2. "And he said unto them, When you pray, say, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done as in heaven, so in earth." Notice the comparison. Everything in the heavens translated down to the earth. Keep that in mind. Everything in the heavens translated down to the earth. We are a type and shadow of that which is in the heavens, according to what Scripture is teaching us. Okay? Then you can look also in Matthew chapter 6 and verse number 10. Oh, by the way, I just want to let you know, I love my new board. I just put it together today. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 10. And it's got another side too. All I got to do is just spin it around and keep on writing.
It flips.
It does flip if I want it to flip. But I can also spin it around. Matthew chapter 6. Let me get there. Matthew chapter 6 and verse number 10. Matthew chapter 6 and verse number 10. "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in" what? "As it is in." So you see the comparison again, the same thing. Okay? So understanding that this is how Yah works. Everything in the heavens is placed on earth for who? For us. Okay? So now we come to the events of understanding the day, the night, and the evening.
Try pulling the board forward.
You have a glare on Exodus, I think, from that way.
Come forward a little bit. Tilt it this way.
Now it's a layer over here.
Oh.
Never mind. I thought maybe just split it forward would be better, but you're good.
Yeah, yeah, I've already tried to jack it around. We've got, yeah, it's these crazy lights, okay? So we have to look at the temple in heaven in order to understand the events of how things will play out on the earth. We look for the pattern of how day and night and evening and morning, forgot morning, are established in heaven, and understand that Yahweh's house or temple on earth was not closed at night, and it was closed at night and reopened in the morning. Now this is what a lot of folks don't understand. There were no temple activities at the nighttime. Can somebody tell me why?
Because it was dark.
It was dark. They didn't have lights and flip a light switch on and everything lit up. They did everything in the daytime. What was the menorah for?
Light at night.
That was all it was just to light up the holy place. Okay? The Holy of Holies was dark. It was behind the curtain, so therefore everything was dark. So all temple activities, all sacrifices, all burnt offerings, all feast days, except for two. You tell me which ones they are? That happened at night.
Passover,
Passover
atonement.
and atonement. That is it. Okay? Passover and atonement. And so my argument has always been, when we came into this understanding, if Yah wanted every day to start in the evening, then every feast day would start in the evening. So why did he tell us that two of them started in the evening? Wouldn't they all start in the evening? They would. So there's only two. Okay? So we see that everything in the temple on earth is depicted by how Yah intended it to be there as far as heaven as well. No tents, no temple sacrifices at night, no legal court taking place in session after dark. Look over to Nehemiah, and I just thought about this verse right here. Go to Nehemiah chapter number, I think it's 10. I'm not sure. Hold on a second. Maybe it's 6. Hold on a second. We get to Nehemiah 13. Nehemiah 13. Nehemiah, one of the shortest men in the Bible. Actually, Bildad was the shortest one in the Bible. He was the son of Bildad the Shuhite. Brum-bum-bum. Yeah. Nehemiah chapter number 13 and verse number... Let's start at verse number 15. Said, in those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and lading donkeys, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. So tell me, would Yeshua riding on a donkey be considered a burden?
Yeah.
So therefore he could not have come into Jerusalem on a Sabbath day. Okay? Verse number 16. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah. and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, What evil thing is this that you do and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our Elohim bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet you bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should be open, not be open till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them, and said unto them, Why lodge you about the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves, and that they should come and keep the gates, and sanctify the Sabbath day. Remember me, O my Elohim, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of thy mercy. And so Nehemiah here documents that they closed the gates on the night before Sabbath as it began to get dark, and then open it up until the next day. Now there's a lot that contend to say, oh, well then the Sabbath day starts in the evening. No. Why did he shut it off on Friday night?
It was getting dark.
Why? Yeah, but why Friday night? Why not just wait till Saturday morning? They would already be in there.
Right.
Them people would already have snuck in. And so he told them, he said, don't lodge here by the gates no more, or I'm going to come out there and I'm going to whip you. Okay? So here we see very, very clearly some good indications concerning the day. Now, when we talk about the importance of the temple, we see that it's all done during the daylight hours, okay, or during the time of light. And so that's what we're going to focus on right here the rest of today, is we're going to focus on the light, okay? Now notice in John chapter number 9 and verse number 4 and 5. John chapter 9, verse 4 and 5. John chapter 9, verse 4 and 5. It says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is what? Day. The night comes when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. So notice that Yeshua talks about the fact that work had to be done in the light, not in the night. Do you know that doctors and scientists have concluded that those who work third shift and night shift work probably are shortening their lifespan because it goes contrary to nature?
There's chemical changes in your body that go up and down according to
That's correct.
that. I mean, that's the time your body is set to repair itself.
Right, your body's designed to rest.
When you switch it, you switch it.
You switch it, right, yeah, and you really mess it up. But notice what Yeshua said there in verse number 5. He said that he is the light of the world. The light of the world. Okay? Keep that in mind. We're going to be talking about that. Light of the world. That word light simply means illumination. It's not a 50 watt, 60 watt, 100 watt bulb, but it literally means illumination. Okay? So look over in John 11, 9 and 10. John 11. John 11, verses 9 and 10. He says, Yeshua answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbles not, because he sees the light of this world. What light is he talking about there? He sees the light of this world.
The sun.
Talking about the sun. That's exactly right. Okay? Verse number 10. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbles because there is no light in him. There is no illumination in him. When we go outside in the dark, and we ain't got street lights, and we ain't got we don't have a full moon to light the way. We go out in the woods. Do we go out without a flashlight? Can't see. Can't see where we're going. What we're going to do? We're going to stumble. We're going to fall. We're going to get hurt. That's exactly what Yeshua was talking about there. Okay? Go to Matthew chapter 10. And again, I'm just giving you some verses to lay out some groundwork. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 27. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 27 says, "What I tell you in the darkness, that speak you in the light, and what you hear in the ear, that preach you on the housetops." Again, he's talking about speaking light or illumination in the darkness. Go to 1 John chapter 5. 1 John 5, verse 5. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 5 says, hold on a second, that ain't right. I wrote the wrong verse down. Hold on a second. I wrote the wrong verse down. Hold on a second. One five. I'm sorry. 1 John 1:5. This then is the message which we have heard of him and declare unto you, that Elohim is light, illumination.
Circular motion, shut up and down. Fine.
Who is it? Oh. Got me lost. This is the message which we have heard of him and declare unto you, that Elohim is light, and in him is no darkness at all. Okay? So we go back to Genesis chapter number 1, and we see that in the beginning Elohim created the heavens and the earth. And it says there that he said, "Let there be light," and there was light. He saw the light, it was good. Elohim divided the light from the darkness. He called the light day, the darkness he called night. But John says that in him is no darkness at all. Now look in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Better change this in case somebody's keeping notes. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and let's look at verses 4 through 7. First Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 4 through 7. It says, "But you, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. You are all the children of light," children of illumination. Okay? Children of light and the children of the day. "We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober," or clear-minded. "For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night." So there again, another idea and another thought concerning light and illumination. And I'm trying to build this to help us to understand a little bit more about what's taking place here in Genesis chapter number 1. Romans 13:13. Romans chapter 13, verse 13. Romans 13 and verse 13. let us walk honestly or properly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envy, as in the day. Okay? So now, let's go back to Genesis chapter 1 and let's begin to look at the events on the first biblical day. Genesis chapter 1, in the beginning Elohim created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. So when we look at this thought in verse number 2, where it says the earth was without form and void, this implies chaos and emptiness. How many remember some of the verses that we read use the word chaos and emptiness? You might have a version that reads that way.
If I remember right, the Hebrew word that's used there for the emptiness and darkness means chaos.
Well, that's what we're told. Even the Peshitta says the earth was chaos and empty. Chaos and empty. Chaos and emptiness. Okay. The KJV says it was without form and void. Okay. But the Hebrew text does not really mention chaos and emptiness. The Hebrew text mentions this word. Tohu vavohu. Tohu vavohu. That's the actual word, okay, given to us in this particular passage of Scripture. It has a distinctive difference, okay? And so what it actually means, it means sameness.
Meaning no division.
No division, no difference. Tohu vavohu. There was no difference. It was sameness. No differences whatsoever. We know there is a great difference between day and night. We know there's a great difference between light and dark. We know there's a great difference in those things. But tohu vavohu means sameness. It was all just that. Okay? Now we can't fathom that. We can't understand that because that goes beyond our finite minds. We can't understand that. Okay. The explanation, though, is found in the second part of verse number 2, where it says, "Darkness was upon the face of the deep." That even the deep looked the same as, you couldn't tell difference. Could not tell a difference. It was all the same. And that's what tohu vavohu means. Everybody say it together. Tohu vavohu. Tohu vavohu. Okay?
Is that the darkness of the deep?
No, that is the form, without form and void. Without form and void. What's the TS 2009 say?
It says formless.
Formless.
And
Okay. Are you still using a Jewish Bible, Miss Lisa? Oh, okay. I thought you might have that one. Okay. Okay. So that's what that means. That tohu vavohu means the same as from the without form and without void. Okay. So what we learn from this thought of sameness, can be explained as a blanket of utter darkness which must not be understood as night. Why can't it be understood as night?
Because there was no light yet.
There was no light yet, and there was no division of time yet. So it can't be considered night. Because what does everybody do that starts keeping the day starting in the evening? Oh, well, the nighttime came first. No, there's no night here.
right.
There's no day here. There's nothing. It's zero. It's nothing. Okay? So we can't say, oh, well, the night came first. No, there's no night. It's just a blank slate.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. Okay? All the same.
Say that word again.
Tohu vavohu? That word? Yeah. Tohu, like tofu, but tohu vavohu. Tohu vavohu. Tohu vavohu. Okay? Darkness in Hebrew is choshech. C-H-O-S, make sure I spell that right. C-H-O-S-H-E-C-H. Choshech. The C-H has the guttural sound. Like you're hocking up a loop. Choshech. Okay? It's just choshech. Okay? That means darkness. Okay? And darkness lacks spiritual light. And so light of any kind gives us distinction. Okay? So we go into a dark room, we flip on a light, guess what? We have illumination, now we can see distinction. We go outside, we're in the woods, we can't see nothing, we flip on a flashlight, oh, now we can see distinction, we can see where we're going. This is the important part of that light. Okay? And why light is so important. Remember that Yeshua was called the light of the world. He said in the beginning that He was from the beginning. He is the light that shines in the darkness. Okay? So we're trying to establish some parameters here. And I think once I get to where I want to go, I think when you see this, it'll really help you to understand just who really Yeshua really is.
I
Okay?
think too, David, in our society today, we very rarely get total darkness.
Oh, no.
There's
No.
that, what did you say, Miss Sharon?
That we very rarely get total darkness. Even if you're outside, there's lights.
It's light pollution is what we have.
But I mean, there's going to be a street light somewhere or somebody's light on their house. Or we noticed in Kansas, we were 5 miles out in the prairie. Okay, and there's nothing. There aren't houses. There aren't street lights. And we noticed one time that it is black dark.
Yeah.
You can't see. You can hold your hand up and you can't see it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Has anybody ever taken a tour of a cave?
yes.
Yeah.
There's some caves over in Colorado Springs. It's called Cave. I think it's Cave of the Winds. It's Cave of the Winds. Anyway, it's over near Garden of the Gods. What they call Garden of the Gods. We went down in that cave, and they literally turned the lights off so they can show you what total darkness is. Literally, you cannot see your hand in front of your face. I mean, it is the craziest thing. So when we talk about total darkness, we can't really fathom it unless we get into a place that has no light, zero light. Okay? So without light that gives distinction, there is nothing more than tohu vavohu, sameness. Okay? The light has to give the distinction. Okay? So before the physical creation of the luminaries on the fourth day, we must not use the terms evening and morning because of the simple fact there was no light. There was no timekeeping. Okay? All right? Those are linked to divisions of time from day 4. Okay? Now, when we talk about these different things and talk about what the Scripture says about the light, we have to understand that the work of Yahweh is all about light and not darkness. What is darkness always a representation of? Sin and evil. Okay? What is light always a representation of? Good. Okay? Right. And so we understand that Scripture said that he is light and no darkness is found in him. And so then we go on to Genesis 1, verse number 3. And Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light. Okay, kids, be quiet. Shh. Hold down the noise. When we talk about this, we need to go to Isaiah 45:7. Isaiah 45:7. So in Isaiah 45 and verse number 7, it says, I'll let everybody get there. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh, do all these things. Okay? So it is Yahweh that forms light. That word form is very important. Keep a mind and keep a thought on that word form. I form the light. Okay? Now, here, and I'm going to try to quote it, but the Hebrew text reads Yotzer or Uvare Hoshek. Basically, it's Yahweh formed light by shaping it from his already existing eternal light. Okay? So he's already light. Yahweh is not dark. Okay? We've got to remember, Yahweh, the Creator, is outside of this. He's outside of this, and he is shaping and forming and fashioning creation as we know it. All right? Everybody following? So he's shaping it from his already existing eternal light. He fashions the light. He gives it shape, a distinctive form after his already existing eternal light. And it is not created light. This light was formed and shaped from all what was already light. Okay? And so many would say that this would be the light of the Messiah. I want you to go to John chapter number 1. John chapter number 1. The Jehovah's Witnesses would teach that Yeshua is a created being like the angels. Not true. John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. The same was in the beginning with Elohim. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men, and the light shines in darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. John goes on to say, there was a man sent from Elohim whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that comes into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. Okay? So again, John talking about the Messiah. And when we look at what Isaiah says, what Yahweh says in Isaiah, that he forms light. Okay? He forms light, he creates darkness, and he shapes it from his already existing eternal light, fashions it, and gives it a shape. Okay? Now, when we look at another verse, I want you to go to Mark chapter number 9. And I know this is a lot of information, and I'm trying to make it as understandable as possible. Mark chapter 9, and we'll read verses 2 and 3. This is why you can't read the Bible as a novel, because, there's got so many different pieces to the puzzle that are scattered all over the book. Mark chapter 9, verse 2 and 3, and after 6 days Yeshua takes with him Peter and James and John, and leads them up into a high mountain apart by themselves, and he was transfigured. That word transfigured also has a different word. Anybody know what that word is? Does anyone else's Bible use a different word than transfigured?
Transformed.
Transformed. Transformed. What does transformed mean? Changed? Changed into something else? How about showing what anybody said? And I didn't watch the movie. I think my kids did when they got out of my house. But I don't think I ever watched the movie. I could be wrong. Sarah might can tell me what it is. The movie Transformers.
Oh, yes. My
I
granddaughter.
watched them.
Huh?
I've seen them.
Yeah. I don't think I watched it. Now I did like that yellow Camaro.
That's my
I
granddaughter.
did like that yellow Camaro. But I don't think I really watched the movie. It just really didn't thrill me, okay? But what did they do?
Transform.
They changed. They changed from what? What were the people thinking that they were?
The vehicles,
They were cars. What were they really?
the robots.
Robots. What do the people see Yeshua as? A man. What was he really?
Yeah.
Elohim. Okay? So between Isaiah 45:7 and Mark 9:2-3, we see part of the eternal light of Yahweh was shaped, formed, and fashioned into Messiah's redemptive life. Now, here's the funny part. The Jewish rabbis understand this concept as the light being the Messiah. But guess what they don't do? They don't accept Yeshua as that Messiah. They understand the biblical concept 100% because they're the ones that teaching it. But they rejected Yeshua because he did not come as the warrior conqueror over the Roman Empire that they thought. Okay? This comes from a rabbi, let's see, from a rabbinic midrash, Yalkut Shimoni on Psalm 36:9. So look at Psalm 36:9. Psalm 36:9. And listen, this is not all my information. This is from Avi. Avi was a Hasidic Jew. He was one of the curly-headed guy. He knows this stuff, and his information is spot on. So in Psalm 36:9, it says, "For with thee is the fountain of life, in thy light we shall see light." And so he says, what is by your light we see light. This is the light of the Messiah. As it is said, Elohim saw the light that it was good. He quotes Genesis 1:4. Okay? And this teaches that before the world was created, the Holy One, blessed is He, looked forward to the generation of the Messiah and His actions. Yahweh hid the primordial light for Messiah and His generation beneath His throne of glory. Satan said to the Holy One, this is a rabbi talking now, okay? This is what his teaching was. Satan said to the Holy One, blessed is He, Master of the universe, for whom is the light that you hid beneath your throne of glory. Yahweh responded, it is for him who will ultimately refute and shamefully rebuke you. Master of the universe, show him to me. Yahweh responded, come and see him. As soon as he saw him, he became frightened and fell on his face, saying, certainly this is Messiah. And he quotes Daniel chapter 7, verse 13 and 14, who will ultimately cause my downfall, as well as all the princes of the idolaters in Gehinnom. As it is said, he will swallow up death forever, and Yahweh Elohim will wipe away the tears from every face. he quotes Isaiah chapter 25 and verse number 8. So here's a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi, that understands that Psalm 36:9 refers back to Genesis chapter 1, verse number 4. Okay? Now, I showed you this some time back, but I'll look back in Genesis chapter 1 again. And what is it that Yeshua says that he is in the book of Revelation? I am the first and the last, Alpha and Omega, which in Hebrew is Aleph and Tav. Okay? Yahweh also says that he is the first and the last, the beginning and the end. And in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1, Genesis 1:1, in the Hebrew text that is not translated in the English, there is a two little bitty letters, H, 853 in the Strong's Concordance. H853, it is this symbol. That ain't gonna work. Got too many chairs. Stop. That symbol in Genesis 1:1. That symbol is Aleph and Tav. The beginning and the end. Genesis 1:1 has that symbol embedded in it that is not translated into our English. So if Yeshua says, I am the beginning and the end, and Yahweh says that he is the beginning and the end, then we have to assume that they both come right here in Genesis chapter 1:1. Okay? Now, let me read another rabbi. Now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not jumping on the side of the rabbis because I think they got a lot of things wrong, but they got some stuff right. This is a rabbinic midrash speaking of the same idea in Breshit Rabbah. Rabbi Yehuda, son of Rabbi Simon, said, the light that the Holy Blessed One created on the first day, a person could see him from one end of the world to the other. The Holy One will give them, the people, the great light that he had hidden under his throne of glory. And he says this is likely the basis for Isaiah 9:2 and what Yeshua said in John chapter number 8, verse number 12, where he said, I am the light of the world. Isaiah 9:2 said, the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death, upon them a light has shined. And so there we see even the rabbis knew concerning the Messiah and concerning the beginning of creation. Okay? So now what do we say tohu vavohu means? Can you say it? Tohu vavohu. Tohu vavohu. What do we say Hoshek meant? Hoshek, darkness. Darkness. Okay? You're learning. You're learning. Okay? Now, established on Isaiah 45:7, he forms light and creates darkness. And the let there be light, and there was light in Genesis 1:2. That tohu vavohu, the blanket of darkness or sameness, was filled with pure spiritual light of a kind that we are not able to see with our human eyes. Figuratively, think of a container of pure black paint being infused with another container of an equal amount of white paint. Perfectly mixing the two would create what professional home decorators, photographers, videographers, artists, filmmakers would call 18% grayscale. In other words, a blanket of pure creation gray with absolutely no distinctions, because dark and light are a perfect blend. Got kind of busy out there. A perfect, what we might call a perfect blend of middle gray. Okay? So in Genesis 1:4, it says, look there, Genesis 1:4, and Elohim saw the light that, how many of your Bibles have "it was" written there? Everybody have "it was"? In italics. Can somebody tell me why it's in italics? Add it in. Add it in. It was good. Elohim saw the light that it was good. Okay? What if, because Yahweh made and fashioned and formed light from the light that He already had and that already existed with Him, what if it said that He is good? And Elohim saw the light that He was, or He is good. Not it. He. Very possible that this is what it's meaning, declaring that that which Yahweh has formed, that which Yahweh has taken and fashioned at creation, going back and reading it again, and Elohim said, "Let there be light," and there was light, verse 3, verse 4, and Elohim saw the light that he was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness, separated the light from the darkness. This, the midrash that came from those rabbis, could easily be a response from Yeshua. Well, I don't know what's going on, but it's something busy out there. A reply using a question to a rabbinic type of inquiry from the rich young ruler. There in Mark chapter number 10. So let's look in Mark chapter 10. Mark chapter 10 and verse 17 and 18. Mark 10, verse 17 and 18. And it says, "And when he was gone forth into the way, there came one running and kneeled to him and asked, 'Good master, what shall I do that I may inherit eternal life?' And Yeshua said unto him, 'Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, and that is Elohim.'" How did John define or describe Yeshua? In John chapter number 1. "In the beginning was the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim, and the same was in the beginning with Elohim." Okay? So when we look at that, we can see it in the Hebrew. He was in Breshit, or the beginning, with Elohim. Okay? Mark 10 shows that even the ancient teachers of Judaism understood Genesis 1:4 as the light of Elohim, the eternal anointed Hamashiach or Messiah. Once again, there in 1 John chapter 1, verse number 5, Elohim is light, and in Him is no darkness at all. So therefore you go back to Genesis chapter number 1 and verse number 4. I got done quicker than I thought I was going to. And Elohim saw the light that he was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Questions? Comments? Thoughts?
So like the Alf and Tau, you would say one of them represented Elohim and the other one Yeshua.
Say that again.
The Alpha and the Tau,
The Aleph and the Tav,
yeah.
first and last,
Yeah.
beginning and end.
The beginning is Elohim and the end is Yeshua.
No, they're both. Yeshua being Elohim.
Elohim.
Yeshua being the formed, fashion, the fashioning, like we said, being formed, the light taking on form, human form, okay? Yep. So, I think probably one of the biggest problems that most people have is we can't rationalize that with our finite mind, how Yahweh can be how he can be in the heavens as spirit, but yet he can be on earth in the form of Yeshua. Well, we don't have a problem with him being able to hear prayers all over the world at the same time, or be all over the world at the same time. That right now we're having Shabbat meeting now, but yet somewhere else in the world, someone else is having a Shabbat meeting, and the spirit of Elohim is there with them as well. We don't have a problem understanding that, and we don't have a problem believing that, but sometimes we have a problem believing that Yeshua can be here on earth and the Spirit of the Father being in heaven, and yet they can still be the same thing. But got to remember that Yahweh is out of our time zone. He's out of our time continuum. He is bigger than our box. We cannot put our Elohim in a box and shut him up and tote him around with us. We can't do that. When we try to do that and we try to understand that, we'll just want to our brain just go.
We're taking everything on a human concept.
That's exactly right.
A human way of thinking. And he is not what? And he is, and he's not.
He's not that way.
And so we can't try to understand how he does things, what he does, and all of that, like we try to understand people or we understand situations.
Exactly.
Because you just can't do it.
Yeah. So where have we concluded that the day begins? When does the day begin?
Morning.
In the morning. When does the day end?
In the morning.
In the morning.
You just blew Larry's
I just blew
mind.
Larry's mind. That's right. Yeah. The days. Hey guys, let's be quiet. Too much chatter going on here. We can't hear. Okay.
Well, it's like there is no space between day and night.
There's no space between day and night. One ends and the other one begins.
So if one ends here and one starts here, they both end and start at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of like tohu vavohu.
Yeah. You just like saying that.
I do. I like that. Yeah.
We'll say he's
Yes,
Tohu vavohu. That's right. Okay. So we know that the day begins in the morning at daybreak. And we know that it goes until the next daybreak, and then the next day begins. One day ends, the next day begins, okay? We understand that Sabbath. Now, if you choose to keep Sabbath from Friday night to Sunday, then that's perfectly fine. When you look in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the priest even instructed to start shutting things down in the late afternoon, coming into early evening. Why? Because it was coming on tonight. It was time for you to get ready to go to bed. Okay? If you want to keep Sabbath from Friday night to Sunday morning, then that's all fine and good. But Sabbath don't end tonight at sundown. Sabbath does not end tonight at sundown. It continues on. So therefore, You can't run out and go out to eat supper tonight because you'll be breaking Shabbat. You'll be breaking Sabbath. Okay? We had to learn that. Had to learn that. Okay? And it's important that we learn that and we set that. And Genesis 1 sets that standard right off the bat. Okay? No other question whatsoever. It sets it off. It sets it right off the bat. That the day begins morning, daybreak, ends at daybreak, next day starts right then. Okay? Remember the old Cat Stevens song? Morning has broke. Remember that song? Yeah. Us old people remember that
You
song.
gotta be a certain age.
The young people are like, I've never heard that song. Wesley, we know that song, don't we? Yeah. All right. Let's see. What is the purpose of the temple in heaven? Why the temple in heaven? Why did we talk about the temple in heaven? What was the purpose of it?
On earth as it is in heaven.
Right, setting the standard for what is fashioned here on earth. What'd you say? It's a copy. Well, heaven's not a copy. Earth is a copy. Right.
Earth is a copy.
That's right. Earth
Has to be a
is
copy for
a
Jesus.
type and shadow. Right, exactly. Okay?
The earth is like the heavenly earth.
The earth is the earthly earth.
No, the earth is like the heavenly earth.
Like the heavenly earth?
Yeah.
Representative.
The representative. Right, yeah. Mhm.
He's saying, very good.
Who is the light of the world?
God,
Yeshua is the light of the world.
God, Sheila.
Okay? That's right. What is the word for chaos and emptiness?
That tohu word.
No, that's
Tohu vavohu.
Tohu vavohu means what?
same.
Sameness. Okay? Okay? All right. Any other questions, comments? How many of you are totally confused?
I lived that way, so.
Okay? Now, next week we're going to get right into chapter 1, verse 6, and we're going to continue on. Genesis chapter 1 is going to show us several things. Number 1, it's going to show us when the day begins. Number 1. Number 2, it's going to show us when Messiah was formed or fashioned or came to be that we know of as the Messiah. Okay? It's going to show that. Number 3, it's going to show the fashion of our world and our earth. Genesis is going to show you that you do not live on a ball flying through space at X number of thousand miles an hour. Okay? Genesis is going to show you that there are no such things as planets. The Bible does not use the word planets. It uses the word stars. Okay? Okay, so Genesis is going to show you about the firmament. It's going to show you that we cannot fly a rocket to the moon. And we cannot go to Mars. Now, I know a lot of them want to go, and I think some of them came from
I
Mars.
see it on TV.
Yeah.
It's real. They took pictures.
Yeah. Huh? What'd you say?
I said they took pictures.
They took pictures. That's right. They took pictures.
But I never understood who took that picture of him coming off the steps.
Hey, even funnier than that, they've got his suit, one of the astronaut suits in the Space Museum in Hutchinson, Kansas. We used to take the kids to the Cosmosphere, and we would go in there and we'd look at the module, you know, made out of tinfoil, you know, and his foot or his sole of his moon boot is smooth, but the picture, it's got ridges on it. It's like, wait a minute, that ain't something's wrong there. And then the funny part is we go into the planetarium and we're under a dome, and they're showing us the constellations, and we're like, fool! They're telling you what they're telling you right there, and we're like, oh, we're on a ball flight. No, you're under a dome, and they're showing you exactly how the constellations turn. Just right there, right there. So we're gonna Genesis is going to show you about the firmament. It's going to talk about the waters above, the waters below. Genesis is going to talk about the creation. Create the sun, moon, stars. Talk about the days of the week. And then we're going to learn about the Shabbat and the Sabbath when we get to day number 7. So Genesis, creation, lays the foundation for many, many, many biblical doctrines. Okay? Any questions? Anyone on Zoom have a question, thought, comment? Anyone at all? Yes, ma'am.
So did you guys, when you first came into this walk, did you do evening to evening?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Watch the sliver of the moon and all that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah. Yep. We didn't know any better. We didn't know any better. I don't know anyone that didn't. But then through study, trial and error, and questions, and this just don't make sense.
When you're really seeking truth.
When you're seeking
Spirit
truth,
will-
right.
We did the same thing. We come into it. We was evening to evening. We would copy in what the Jews were doing.
Exactly.
And one thing that really got me really searching is I had on one of them little Seder books and read the prayer for sanctifying the moon.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, that's demonic.
That's
There's
demonic.
no way
That's exactly right. And where did the rabbis say? Where did the rabbi that I read today, where did he say it come from? Came from Babylon. Came from Babylon. Can I just say this? I mean, I've said it before, but I just want to reiterate it. Our Creator, our Savior, our Messiah would never want us to follow Babylonian patterns. No matter what it is. Okay? We're on a 24-hour day, but biblically it's an 18-hour day. You look in the book of Enoch, it's an 18-hour day. But it still comes out the same. But it was the Babylonians that gave us the 60-second minute. It was the Babylonians that gave us the 60-minute hour. It was the Babylonians that gave us a lot of our measurements and a lot of our time. It was the Babylonians that gave us the 24-hour time system and the 24-hour clock. Was not Yahweh, because when you look at the book of Enoch, it was set on up 18. 9 hours for the day, 9 hours for the night. And it was if I understand, it's an 80-minute hour. 80-minute hour. 80-minute hour. Yeah. But Yahweh would not want us to follow a Babylonian calendar, a Babylonian reckoning of time, Babylonian scriptures, Babylonian teaching, because Babylon, where does Babylon come from? Nimrod. Anybody remember the story of the Tower of Babel? Remember who Nimrod was? Bible says he was a mighty hunter, and the King James Bible changed it. It's against Yahweh. A mighty hunter against Yahweh. He was the founder of the nation of Babylon. Okay? So, anyone on Zoom have anything they'd like to add? Okay. All right.